What's up, guys? Chris from Review Cave here today, and man, I am shaking the camera. Alright, so One Piece Chapter 1001 came out last week. Unfortunately, I did not have time to actually 2 weeks ago it came out. I did not have time to record previously, so this is coming out very late. So, sorry about that. I'm trying to get these reviews out as soon as possible, because I just want to keep talking about them. And plus, for the longest time, when the pandemic first started, these manga reviews were kept consistent for a couple of months until the summer, and now a bit in the fall. So, again, I'm sorry for not being consistent with these uploads on the day of the chapters officially releasing or day after. But either way, One Piece is something I just want to keep talking about no matter what. So, Chapter 1001, the Battle of Monsters on Onigashima. Now, this starts off right after Chapter 1000 ended, with Luffy's Red Rock managing to knock Kaido into the floor. And, interestingly enough, Kaido acknowledges that he managed to damage him. So that was something good. I knew that it wasn't going to be like a one-hit KO or do something very intense damage, because you see from how Oda's drawing this, is that Kaido didn't receive a mortal injury. It hurt him, but it wasn't too damaging. It did enough damaging to him that it shows that we can hurt Kaido, but not enough to show that Luffy can just overpower him. So that's good, because sometimes people will tend to complain about the power scaling in One Piece, but in this case, I think Oda does power scaling very well, especially in terms when it comes to Luffy fighting an impossible opponent, because right now we're facing off 2 Yonko, with 5 of the worst generation, 3 of them being captains, and 2 of them being the first mates. So that's something very interesting. So, as Kaido is staking this, he realizes that he was damaged, but only a few people have managed to actually damage him. And then we see the silhouettes behind Luffy of Odin, Whitebeard, Xebec, Roger, obviously, and I missed this in the first read-through. Shanks is right behind Luffy. So that's honestly really good, because it shows that, it really does show that Kaido is starting to view Luffy as one of the few people that have managed to damage him. Now, you may notice that, Big Mom's not behind there, but it could be that Kaido and Big Mom haven't, full-on battled it out, for real. Maybe that's why he only sees these 5 people. So, there's that. But then, angrily, he says, Straw Hat. Man, sometimes I can't talk. Straw Hat, and then the very next battle before we move on to the next page, he starts up his attack for Thunder Bagua with a smirk, which means he's starting to enjoy this. He launches his Thunder Bagua, Luffy sees it, and what's interesting enough, it did not one-hit KO him like it did back in Curry. So, Luffy did actually manage to get hit, but he dodged quick enough that it only managed to hit him slightly, which was honestly really good. And the best part is, Luffy was using Future Sight. So Luffy, even though he can use Future Sight, it might not be to the same extent as Katakuri, or as fast as Katakuri yet, but it shows that Luffy is starting to really master his Future Sight, and can really do something about his opponents. So he managed to avoid a one-hit KO move that took him out literally a few weeks ago. So, we move on. After Luffy gets up, Big Mom comes in with damn, I keep forgetting his Prometheus. One time I said Apollo, and then I don't know, maybe it's the Greek god references when it comes to Zeus. But right as Prometheus is about to launch his attack, Zorro comes on, Foxfire style, which is something that I found very cool. Fire Flame Rend. So he literally used Kinemon's technique. So this shows that Kinemon's technique isn't unique to him. It is something that can be learned. When Luffy recognizes this, Zoro's like, I stole it. So this is awesome, because Zoro is learning from the samurai of Wano. And now that Zoro can actually do something like this, we can actually have people that can damage 2 of the homies that Big Mom has. Obviously, Brook managed to cut up Zeus, which led in Whole Cake Island him to completely discharge, and then led to his Nami's capture of him. But now we have Zoro able to use the Flame Rend technique to take him on. But right as Kaido was about to launch another attack on Luffy, Law rooms him out of the way, uses shambles, and he gets avoided. But the one thing I love right here is basically Law just getting angry at Luffy from the previous chapter. Remember when Luffy told Law to move the samurai down to lower levels? Well, Law said he was about to do that anyway. But when Luffy just ended up saying it right as he was about to do it, it was like he was taking orders from him. So I like how Law is like, I don't want to. He's basically like being a tsundere because he respects Luffy. He notices his strength and capabilities as a captain, but he does not want to be ordered around by him, which I can fully understand because I do think that Law and Luffy are pretty good rivals, respectable rivals that don't want to kill each other, but rivals nonetheless. So that's honestly really awesome to see. So then Kid gets in on the action and he just barrels down on Law, and basically like saying, "Oh, you're taking orders from Straw Hat now." And the one thing I like how these three, like in the middle of the most serious battle of the arc, they're goofing around, which is something I like about One Piece. We managed to get some of these nice goofy moments in the most serious of scenes. And this isn't the most serious scene, but this is like supposed to be the climactic battle, and we're still getting some goofiness. So then Luffy comes up with a game that right as Prometheus is launching a barrage of fireball attacks, Luffy is like, okay, whoever dodges out of the way last is the leader. So all three of them are like, this is a stupid idea. What kind of game we're not playing? We're not here to play games. And then the very next page, the top three panels are Kid, Luffy, and Law being like trying not to dodge first, and they all get hit. And Zoro's like, what the hell are you idiots doing? Oh, man. I love it. And I love those goofy faces. I love it how Oda can make some serious characters, like especially Law, have these like this goofy face and act so immature like Luffy, which is just great. I love it. Alright. So, now, Zoro and Killer get ready to launch on Kaido. Zoro uses his Purgatory Onigiri, and Killer uses his beheading blades. So, before this, I do like how Killer and Zoro acknowledge each other, and Zoro knows that Killer was the manslayer from earlier in Act 2. So, Killer ends up saying that you would have been dead if I had been using, let's see, what was it called? The Punishers, yes. If I've been using my Punishers, you'd be dead, Roronoa. And I like that that's also giving a bit of a rivalry for Killer and Zoro, since they're both first mates of the two captains that pretty much have like the highest bounties at this point of the worst generation, aside from Blackbeard, since he's an emperor now, which is nice. A nice little rivalry between other crew members is honestly really good. So they both use their attacks, and they don't manage to land anything on Kaido. They don't manage to damage him. Let's see. It doesn't really do any damage at all. But one thing that can keep people like, be controversial, like Zoro's like, I gotta draw more of Enma's power, which I thought Enma drew out Zoro's own haki potential. So maybe Zoro can control how much he can in fact get released from Enma. I don't know. He's only had it for a little while now, so I am not entirely sure how that whole thing works. I feel like we're going to have to get some sort of explanation later down the road, because I do see that Zoro can in fact damage Kaido if he can use his haki to the best of his extent. But again, I want to see Zoro use Ashura Ichibuken, the 9-sword style. I really want him to use that because that was his strongest technique pre-time skip. And we have the billion-fold worlds. So I want to see Ashura because that is Zoro's strongest technique, and you can only imagine with the time skip training how strong that technique can be, especially with haki. And there are some artist renderings of it which look pretty cool, so I love that. Well, anyway, after that little failed attempt at hitting Kaido, Luffy, Law, and Kid all lunge at Kaido. Kid gets his. I keep moving the camera when I hit the table. Kid gets ready with Punk Rodden. Luffy gets into Gear 4th, and Law activates Room. Kaido says come, and then this nice full spread of basically. Oh man, I can't describe it. So Law's just chilling on a rock with his sword out. Luffy is about to launch an attack like King Kong gun, I believe. And this killer's in a giant mech made out of scrap. I mean, made out of all the scrap that he's gathered from Onigashima. So Kaido's smirking. Luffy lands a Kong gun on him, and then the Punk Vice is what this mech attack is. So that's pretty cool. Punk Rodden, Punk Vice. So that's pretty cool. And unfortunately, Law only uses, shambles to throw a bunch of rocks on Kaido. Which is weird because right before he attacked, he said, I will be able to injure you from the inside with my power. Now, I hate the fact that Law has such an overpowered fruit to an extent. I mean, there's definitely some limits, but he managed to damage Doflamingo by landing an attack that damaged his insides. So one can only imagine how he can damage Kaido from the inside if even he can't do it, because he might need some form of Haki because of how strong he is. But whatever. So after that, Kaido and Big Mom are laughing. Kaido lunges out in his dragon form. Big Mom has Napoleon in her arm and Zeus, and riding on Zeus, while the worst generation are facing them down. And they're like, whoever wins is that much closer to becoming king of the pirates. So that's how the chapter ends. Now this was another great chapter, and I think it was a little bit better than chapter 1000 because of everything we got to see from the worst generation. Everybody just ganging up on Kaido because Kaido was telling Big Mom to stay out of it. He wanted to see what the worst generation can do. And now we're getting this full-blown battle between all 5 of the worst generation. Now that Hawkins is still not around, so that's something we still need to look out for because he can show up at the very last minute and give the proper push that they need. But then again, we have no idea if Hawkins can actually do anything with how his Devil Fruit is. He can predict the future, but it's not always accurate because the future can always be changed. Case in point with Luffy versus Katakuri, Luffy has future sight, so the future is something that he can predict to an extent. But now we have the real confrontation. Now, we all thought that Kaido was in his dragon form as a way to, test the waters or something like that. And he only gets serious when he's in, his Oni form. I honestly kind of hesitate to call his form a dragon form since he has the fish fruit. But it's just easier for a dragon just to call it now. But anyway, this chapter ends off with a pretty nice 2-page spread and cliffhanger, which I honestly really do enjoy. One Piece continues to impress, and I just cannot wait for 1002 to come out this weekend. But those are my thoughts on One Piece chapter 1001. What were yours? Leave them down in the comments down below, and what do you think will happen next time? Don't forget to follow me on Instagram and Twitter at the official Review Cave for updates on future videos, and don't forget to like and subscribe if you want to keep these reviews coming for these manga chapters. I'm also planning to do some more manga reviews, even though my freaking schedule is very weird at the moment. But I'm going to try and do as much as I possibly can, get more people to, show representation for a series that other people enjoy. But, yeah, I hope you guys have an awesome day, and I hope to see you next time.